Hello guys, and welcome to another Daily Fix. Daily Fix number 65, I think we're on, yeah, 65. Welcome to another Daily Fix with me here at the SmallFryUnify studio, Sean Paul Johnston obviously. Guys, today I mentioned yesterday after playing Super Mario Odyssey, I said today I wanted to focus on something that's been kind of bugging me a little bit over the last few weeks. And I really want to get your opinion on this as Nintendo Switch owners, what you think about what I'm about to discuss. Obviously you can probably tell from the header itself, the description, what this is about. But I want to start off with, basically, for a while now, if you're a Nintendo fan, if you've had stuff like the GameCube, the Switch, the Wii U, one of the big selling points is obviously trying to get third parties onto those consoles and getting games like FIFA, getting games like EA Sports titles, getting things like Grand Theft Auto, the big AAA games, the ones that we know will sell really, really well, and getting them onto the Nintendo Switch has been something that, you know, over the last 7 months, 8 months, it's been getting there slowly. We've got things like Doom, Skyrim, L.A. Noire, we've obviously got things like Rocket League, and we've got more games coming, and I'm sure there's going to be bigger announcements as the time goes by, especially into next year, if the Nintendo Switch continues to sell as it has been. But one of the big things that kind of just recently kind of played them a little bit more than normal was the sales of Doom that's coming to the Switch. So if you're aware, Doom is now the port. It's the 2016 port that came out on all the other consoles and the PC. It's available on Steam and stuff. So it came out way back in, I think it was May the 13th, 2016. So this is a more than a year old port coming to the Switch. And it looks cool. It looks like, you know, they've had to downgrade some of the visual effects, and they've taken out things like the snap map editor, the level editor, in order to make it available and playable on the Switch. Now that's cool. I'm all for that. If you want to make it work on the Switch, that's great. But that's where it ends for me. What's been bugging me so far is the price of the game itself on the Switch. Now, like I said, this is a year-old port. It's more than a year-old port, a year and a half port. And they're looking for now this is just UK prices, £49.99. So essentially, £50 here in the UK for Doom on the Switch. Now, it does include the t-shirt, as you can see in the picture here. It includes this picture if you buy it on the Nintendo store. So you're getting a t-shirt included with that, obviously a cool t-shirt. But I think it's pretty much the same price across other like sales, retail places. So if you're looking at Amazon, Shop 2, Game, whatever, £45 to £50 for this game. Now, if this was a year and a half ago, back in May the 13th, if the Switch was out and we got this game then, that would have been cool, because you'd be getting it at the same time and you'd be like, well, fair enough, it's a bit more expensive, but at least we're getting it. The fact is, it's not the same game. We're getting things that are taken away from it, and it's getting downscaled essentially for the Switch. So it's not even as good a game. Well, it is as good if you go back to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions. However, the game you're getting just now compared to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC iterations is basically a lot less, but we're paying way more. Now, the original prices for these games, it was £50 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on release, and it was £40 on Steam. That's cool. Like I said, we're going back way back in time here now. I've actually worked out the prices on the difference, what we are paying for the Switch version, or what we're having to pay for the Switch version, compared to the current prices, which I think is a better like comparison to what we should be paying. Now, I understand pouring it over takes a bit of time, takes teams. This one was done by, it was by, who was it by again? Let me just get the details. Panic Button. So they've basically ported it over, or it's co-developed with Panic Button anyway. So they've done that. It's coming out in November the 10th, 2017. So basically in a few days' time. But right now, the PlayStation 4 version of Doom is £9.49. Same with the Xbox One version. The PlayStation VR version, which is the brand new version, that's been also made exclusively for the PlayStation VR. So in other words, they built it from the ground up for the PlayStation VR. That's only £14. And the Steam version, for whatever reason, that's still £20. But if you work out the actual comparisons in price, this is what we are paying extra for the game on the Switch. So anywhere between 250% to 525% price increase. Now that's unbelievable. So let's ignore the t-shirt for a second. This is what we are paying. Even if you go down to the lowest value, so this is the one that was £20 on Steam. Even if you go down to the Steam version, we're still paying 250% more for the Switch version. Now, if you had added stuff, if you had added it, made it better quality, obviously you can't do it in the Switch, but if you made all that stuff, if it included the snap map, if it included all that stuff, all the download content, even some exclusive features on it, then you can maybe be like, well, fair enough, we're paying a bit of a premium, but not £50. You know, I'd expect maybe something like 30, especially since it's a 1.5-year old port. So this is what's bugging me, and I want to know what you guys think about it. 250% premium on that. On the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 version, 525% more expensive for the game at its current prices. Now, I think with the t-shirt, if you're adding the t-shirt, you know, I think it's fine to charge more in the Nintendo store because you're getting the t-shirt. Now, I think we should be paying for this, not £30 like this. This is what it's costing, only £30 essentially. If you look at the prices, you're paying £30 for a t-shirt and you're kind of being forced to buy that in the Nintendo store. But anybody else, you're not getting that t-shirt. Now, if you want the t-shirt, I think that's cool, but charge a tenner for the t-shirt. So it should be £30 for the game and the t-shirt. And I think that would do really well. I think Bethesda is going to find it really hard to sell a lot of games on the Switch, especially stuff like Skyrim and Doom, if they're charging this kind of price. Just to give you some global sales, by the way, on Doom, I'm just using Good Doom because that's the one I've been looking at, and it's the one that's about to come out. The PlayStation 4 sold 2.16 million copies. That's kind of rough figures from VG Charts. The Xbox One sold 1.6 million and the PC sold 0.32 million. So it sold 3.5 million globally across all its platforms. I don't know what Bethesda's wanting to sell on the Switch, and it really bugs me that these games companies, third-party games companies, EA, Bethesda, Take-Two, any of these companies, that they keep coming with stuff that there's a benefit to playing it and you're getting a handheld version. Well, wait a second. I paid for the console. That's what I've already paid for. The games, what you're developing, I shouldn't be paying a premium for those games to play them handheld. That's nothing to do with them. They should be porting the game over and adding the content and pricing it up at a reasonable price. Now, if you look at something like Rocket League, now that has sold over 15 million, I think it's almost 18 million now. 18 million sales on its platforms that it's on, and they're going to be charging $20, I think it is, on the Switch. Now, that's a massive game. That's cool. Get it on the Switch, charge $20 or £20. That's fine. I think they could have charged £20 to £25 for Doom, and I would have bought it. £20 I would have bought it in a flash. Same with Skyrim, I would have wanted to play it on the Switch. I just don't think they're going to sell many at £50. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll actually sell like enough copies of this? Is it going to be something, hey Tyler, I think it's going to be something that, you know, it'll maybe sell 50, couple of 100,000. Like, I'll be surprised if it sells any decent numbers at all just based on that price. Skyrim is probably going to be the same. This is a game, this is a 5-year-old game, and yeah, we're getting the download content. But again, there's games coming out on the PlayStation VR, the HTC Vive that have been built to work on those devices. So it's not even like, oh, well, wait a second, we've got a Switch version, we've had to recode, we've had to change things. Well, you're doing that for the PlayStation VR and the VR headsets. So what's the difference? You're still having to recode things, you're still having to reprogram or port things over. So why are we as Nintendo owners, Switch owners specifically, getting screwed over for this? You know, I think there's a big problem here with third parties, and in some ways, you know, if you went back a year ago or at the launch of the Switch, I would have said, you know, this is going to be really important to get third parties on board. But I think these third parties are actually going to shoot themselves in the foot, and I think as time goes on, if they keep charging these prices, they're going to get very little sales and the prices will drop down. And maybe that's what they're expecting. Maybe they're planning that. Maybe they're planning on having the game at a high cost. They'll get everyone that wants it immediately, which I think will be a small niche. and then over time the price will drop, and then more people will pick it up for maybe £20, 15, £20, like the current console versions. Just bugs me a little bit. You know, we've got things like FIFA 18. Now, it was slightly cheaper. It's about £4 cheaper on the Switch than it is on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Again though, there's stuff missing from it. There's stuff that the career mode thing that wasn't there, the whatever it's called, the mode where you go through and you build up. That's missing from the Switch version. It was also using a different engine that, yeah, they've harped on about. It's an engine built up for the Switch and to push it. I don't think it's really pushing it at all. I think it looks quite crap, to be honest. But as a football owner, a football fan, I'm sure you're loving the game. People are enjoying it, but it's missing some of the features. Was it worth the full price? I don't think so myself. I think that should have been kind of what the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox versions, Xbox 360 versions, would have been priced at if it was made for those. Maybe £10, £15 cheaper. £10 cheaper, like maybe £40 for the game instead of £50. You've now got EA, you know, they posted up a tweet and it's quite infuriating. They're basically saying, now this is one of the guys from EA saying that they're in no rush to make more video games for the Nintendo Switch, and they're saying that they're going to wait until the Switch has been a year on the market, like a full year on market, before they decide whether they release more games on the Switch. Wait a second, why do you not put the same restrictions or stuff on when the Xbox One was announced? You were all in on that with about 10 games. I just don't understand why these third parties are making it extremely difficult for themselves to sell their games. So yeah, I think, you know, that's why we've seen really low sales. It's something like 1% for FIFA 18 on the Switch. And you understand why. It's missing features, doesn't look as good, it's priced almost the same as a full console version, their premium version. Why are they expecting it to sell anywhere near what it's going to sell on those platforms? It has to be either buy it here or buy it there. Or are EA, for instance, are they really expecting people to buy two versions at full price just so they can play it on a handheld? Maybe people will do that. Now, I think what's happening as well with consumers, I think it's only bad for consumers this, but I think consumers, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have got enough money to buy anything you want to buy. That's cool. This doesn't really affect you. People will probably watch this video and say, well, I can afford 15 million games, whatever, cool, that doesn't really matter. That's besides the point. I'm not talking about extreme cases where someone's got abundance of money and they can buy as much as they want. It means nothing. What I'm talking about is for the average consumer, making things prohibitively expensive when you've got retail versions out there that are a third of the price. That's what's causing the problem for me. That's what's bugging me as a gamer. I think if you go into a store, this is like, I have to look at this from a really logical perspective. Ignore everything, ignore fanboyism, ignore what consoles you've got, ignore everything. If you went into a store right now, and let's say you were equal on whatever console you wanted to get, a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, or a Nintendo Switch, and you wanted to get a game with it, and let's say all the consoles cost £300, just for like theory's sake here. Let's say they all, or hypothetical sake, let's say they all cost £300 or $300, and you wanted to get a game, and you wanted to get FIFA 18, let's say, or let's say Doom. You wanted to buy Doom for the console. That was the only game your kid wanted, or your partner, or you wanted for that console. Why would you buy the Switch? Would you really spend 3 times as much money in the game just to play it portable? I don't think you would. I think you'd pay less because it's a portable version. But fair enough, you could say, well, it's a brand new console, I'm willing to pay a small premium for that to get it on that console. I just don't think anyone would go in there in their right mind unless you've got abundances of cash. Again, like I'm saying, I don't think anyone would stand in a shop and look at 3 versions and say, you know what, I'm really happy to pay £49.99 for that because I want it on this Switch, unless you've got abundances of cash. Anyway guys, that is what I wanted to talk to you about, the price and stuff. You know, there's this idea that there's the Nintendo Premium. I'll go back to this picture, the Nintendo Premium for console games when we get stuff on this Switch. So let's see what happens with Doom. I think it's going to flop on sales. I think we'll get a cool game, but it'll flop. I'm not buying it. I'm waiting until it comes down to £15 or something on this Switch. Skyrim, again, cool, there's a map there, that's awesome, but it's not a £30 map. Again, I'll be waiting until that comes down to £15 or something, or £20, what it's going to cost on other consoles maybe right now. And the same with stuff like LA Noire, things like whatever, like other games are coming out. FIFA, I'm not interested in FIFA anyway, but things like LA Noire. Now, that looks like it's priced a little bit more reasonable, but I want to see games on Switch. If it's ports that are coming out on release with the other consoles, I expect it to kind of be on parity with price-wise and features. If it's got stuff missing, it needs to be cheaper. If it's got stuff that is the exact same, it needs to be close to the same price, but even still cheaper then, because you're getting a portable version, and it's not ever going to be as good as the actual consoles, the main ones like PlayStation 4 Pro or Xbox One, or Xbox One X even. So yeah, I'm keeping my eye on these to see what happens. I want to know what you guys think about it though. Are you happy with the prices that are coming out on Switch? The prices we're paying for things. I'm not talking about Nintendo first party games here, even though Nintendo's doing it a little bit with their ports, you know, like Mario Kart 8 and some of the stuff in there. But at least they seem to be supporting it. They're adding stuff in there. They're not taking things away. They've just added onto those ports and added the features on. So yeah, I'd still like to see those games cheaper, but Nintendo's first party games never seem to really drop their price massive amounts unless they bring out like the Platinum range or something, or a Nintendo, whatever it's called, the Nintendo line ones. Then we see a big price drop, they drop down to like £20 or whatever. But normally Nintendo games, their first party titles hold their price, their value quite well. It's the third party games, the ones that come out and within a couple of months time they've dropped down to half the price or they're on sale or something. That's the games that's bugging me. These games have already dropped, they're getting ported over, and it's cool to have them, but they're far too expensive, in my opinion. Anyway guys, that's it for this Daily Fix. I'll be back tomorrow. Might do another stream tomorrow for some gaming. Might do a Daily Fix. I want to still go over the PlayStation conference, was it Paris conference? I still want to go over some of that stuff, talk to you guys about the games that we saw there, some cool stuff. So yeah, let's check that out. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. And remember, we're just a bunch of small fries trying to create big things. Hit subscribe, hit like, and all that jazz. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Bye.